The 5 biggest myths about starting an Amazon business. Hey, it's your boy Gavin, back with another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest myths about starting an Amazon business. There's a lot of stuff on the internet, especially on YouTube, and they're saying that you can make all this money. You can launch your product and start making thousands of dollars a month. You can be a millionaire by the end of the year. It's so easy to start an Amazon business. Blah, 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 blah. And I want to tell you that start an Amazon business and what you hear on YouTube is totally opposite. Okay, totally opposite. Do not believe those people that tell you that it is all easy. You can sit back, do this part-time, you can kick back on the beach with your laptop and you're gonna make all this money and you can become a millionaire by the time you're 20. Okay, so let's go through the 5 biggest myths. Number 1, it takes only $1,000 to start an Amazon business.
Man, don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 You said it's all bullshit.
You know, and I've seen this one being thrown around a lot. You know, hey, you can start with $1,000. You can buy your inventory. You can start, put your product, launch your product, and start making all this money. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I always have a chuckle when I hear this one. It's totally ridiculous. And people that are telling you this stuff, they have an ulterior motive. They're probably going to sell you some sort of course. And that's basically how it goes. They say it's so easy. And do not believe them. Do not believe these people, okay? It takes real money to start an Amazon business. $1,000? I mean, maybe you could start an Amazon business 5 years ago when there was hardly any competition. You know, $1,000 would have bought you, a couple of $100 inventory in Alibaba when there was literally no one selling that product. Yes, but today, impossible. Myth number 2. You can still launch products very easily and make money. There's no competition, okay? I want to tell you this, the competition is fierce. It is fierce, especially on Amazon USA, okay? And for the average newbie that wants to come in and make some money, just get a product from Alibaba, slap a label on it, call it their own product with their own brand, and now launch it on Amazon USA, not going to happen, okay? Yeah, you might get lucky and find a little niche product, but if you're going to just try to do what everyone else is doing and think it's so simple that I can just buy a product from China and I can just slap a label on it and I'm going to start selling, it's not going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen, all right? The competition is fierce. It's a lot harder now to launch your product than it was 5 years ago, all right? Do not believe anyone that tells you otherwise. Myth number 3. When you get your product, you can just put it on Amazon. It's just going to start selling like hotcakes. People are just going to start buying it and you're going to make all this money, okay? The hardest thing now is actually getting sales for your product. So there is a very lengthy process with the actual launch of the product. There's people that will launch their product and they will go in the hole for at least 6 to 12 months just to break even. They'll spend all their profit on PPC to try to grab that #1 ranking spot for that product, and they're willing to just either go in the rears or lose money initially to get that product, feedback on that product, get it cemented in the #1 page, and then just keep on driving sales to push the velocity up and either break even or take a loss for that product, just so then they can just squeeze out the competition, and the other sellers just won't be prepared to go in the red that long for that amount of time and lose money. And they're willing to do that because they know that once they get in the top position, no one's going to be able to squeeze them out, and they're literally going to be remain in that top position because they know that the amount of sales that #1 position is making. So they're especially their whole budget is like, hey, I want to go in the red for at least 6 to 12 months. So to be able to do that, they're going to have hundreds and thousands of dollars of capital to do that, and there's sellers out there that do, and they're quite happy to do that. So this doesn't happen on all products, but this is what's happening right now. Their launches are very systematic, and they're very they're willing to outlay a lot of capital just to get that #1 spot. Myth number 4: you can just start an Amazon business in your garage. You can just get up on Amazon very, very quickly, and you can start making money. You know, the cost to start, you can just get like an ABN or a LLC, and you're good to go. The thing with an Amazon business, yes, it's much cheaper to get involved in an Amazon business compared to a traditional business. So if you're from a traditional background, from a bricks and mortar, you understand that Amazon business is so like the amount of capital needed is like really quite small compared to a traditional business. Okay, and there's a lot of headaches that you don't have to deal with having an Amazon business, because you can literally just run from your home if you want, and compared to a traditional business. So if you're coming from a traditional business, having a bricks and mortar business in the past like I have, and then you look at Amazon, yeah, it's much easier. But if you've never had a business before, and you know nothing about business, and you know nothing about renting a shop, the outlay needed, the stock, then the staff, then you need to the peripherals, then you've got to market it, then you've got to get suppliers, negotiate with suppliers. You got to be able to turn your stock over and have enough money to have enough funds to restock, insurances, IP, trademark. So there's a lot of things that you have to deal with, that you still have to deal with an Amazon business, okay? And a lot of these things get overlooked. They don't. People simply either they don't know about them, or they just start a business and they don't even think about it. So one of the things you're gonna have to look at is an accountant, tax. You're gonna look at insurance. You're gonna look at public liability. All right. If someone uses your product and they get injured, and this is generally with electronics and like higher, more products that are more high risk. You're going to be liable, and I'm talking about in Australia, you're deemed as the importer, so you're the manufacturer of the item. You can get sued. So most people don't even think about public liability, but it's something that you should think about, especially if your products are going to be at risk or high risk. Okay. Then you've got to look at trademarking your product, your name. And then you've got to have money for your stock, and then you're going to have more money for it when you sell it. You've got to have your next shipment on the way. So then you've got that lag period. Then you've got obviously the cost of creating the company. I would recommend that you just create a company off the bat. So that's going to probably cost you about $1,500. Then you're going to pay fees every year for that company, which is about $100 or so a year. And then you've got to get an accountant, taxes, you've got to pay GST, then you've got to deal with a shipping agent, depending on which way you're doing it, whether the shipping agent in China is paying the fees or you're paying the fees. You can then offset some of that GST that you pay the port to with your tax. So there's a lot of it's very intricate, and there's a lot of things with an Amazon business. It's like running a traditional business, but with the lesser overheads. But you're still going to need like a lot of capital to start. Which brings me to myth number 5. You can basically start this business with very little money. With this business, you need at least, in my opinion, at least $10,000. If you're in Australia, you need about $10,000 to start. It's not a business for everyone. Okay. Myth number 5. People think that they can just run this from their pajamas at home. They do it part-time, they make all this money. Okay, this business is a long-term business and you have to treat it like a business. To start, in my opinion, if you're going to start a Amazon business in Australia, you need at least 10K. 10K before you even think about it. But this is not a get-rich-quick. This is not a fly, you're going to become a millionaire overnight. This is a real business. You have to treat it like a real business, and real businesses require real capital. Okay, and if you come in with that mindset that it's going to cost you your setup fees to start an Amazon business, by the time you get your company and your logo and your copyright and all these other things that need to put in place, that it's an investment for your future, and you got to think of it this way. I mean, most traditional businesses, they don't even make any money within the first 3 to 5 years. Like by the time they outlay all their money with stock, they're going to pay employees, superannuation, they're going to pay the rent, they're going to pay peripherals, all these monthly costs that come in. By the time they start and invest, a couple of $100,000 in a traditional business, it takes them 3 to 5 years, even before they break even. So this is the way you got to look at your Amazon business. You can basically run this from the laptop. Okay, but don't be fooled that it's a business that you can run like in your spare time. Initially, you're going to put the hard work in to build it, and that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of your brain power, because you're going to have to get your first couple of products going, or start to build a little niche around that niche products, several products in that niche. But once it's up and running, it's going to take less time. But it's an ongoing process. So you don't just launch like 3 or 4 products and then just kick back and you become a millionaire. That's not how it works. By the time you launch your first couple of products, that might take you a year. Okay, so the first year is just a learning curve. Then the second year, then you might want to look at getting a couple more products if you have the capital, because you got to watch your money that you're spending, the cost of the exact product, the costs involved. You can have enough money to then reorder. You got to get the timing right. So by the time you get to your second year building this, but you understand that it's going to take some time, and it's going to take you a few years just to get up and running. Realistically, this should be a 5-year plan minimum. 5 years, very minimum, and 10K minimum. All right, you're never going to hear that from people that are on YouTube that tell you can start an Amazon business, and they're not going to tell you this stuff. They're not, because they're trying to sell you some course. I don't have a course right now, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to give you the cold hard facts and the reality that if that's not your projection and that's not your funds that you have to get started, yes, you can start with a little bit less, but you have to be aware of, you have to know what you're getting into. All right, that's what I'm saying. Be aware of what you're getting into, and what I'm telling you is exactly that, because I've been doing Amazon for over 12 months now. All right, and as long as you know that, if you're willing to do the work, this business can be awesome. It can pay off big time, but you've got to be able to work on the business for the next 5 years, delay that gratification, build it up, and then one day you can sell it for 7 or 8 figures. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave some comments. If you have any comments, let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Catch you guys later on.